Hello and welcome to Odds on Bundesliga Matchday 30. So we have a champion. We have a new champion after 11 years reigning for Bayern Munich. Bayer Leverkusen finally got a title in the Bundesliga thanks to Xabi Alonso. What a game we watched against Werder Bremen, Ronan.
Yes, it was a fantastic way to win the title. It wasn't one of these ones where they just kind of slumped over the line or other results went their way. Bayer Leverkusen were in party mode from the first minute last weekend, and they really enjoyed it. And you saw after the match, the fans coming onto the pitch, the players getting swamped, obviously, and lots of beer was flowing into their bellies and also on top of everyone's heads. So it looked like a proper party atmosphere in Leverkusen. It's great to see someone different finally win the Bundesliga. And it's great to see a new team crowned German champions because it was their first time ever. So 𝐿𝐭𝐴 𝐸𝐻𝐾𝐿 finally.
Exactly. Well, we have a great game. Leverkusen, Borussia Dortmund on Sunday. Still many things to be decided and still many options to make some money in the Bundesliga. So stay tuned. Of course, don't forget to subscribe to our channel to leave your comments. And now let's go on with the show. First game is going to be on Friday, and it's an important one for the European spots. Frankfurt, Augsburg, because there are only 3 points between these two teams. Frankfurt right now sit in the 6th spot. We still don't know which teams are going to go to the Champions League, Europa League Conference. Let's see the coefficient of the German league, but I guess Frankfurt want to keep this 6th spot, and they are not in a good form. Ronan, only 2 points in the last 4 games. They lost to Stuttgart, as you predicted. By the way, whereas Augsburg are way better, especially at home. Away from home this season is 4 wins.
Yeah, it seems to be one of these games where Frankfurt need to win to kind of put everything in their hands. That move 6 points clear. They're obviously on 42 points at the moment to Augsburg's 39. So to open up a 6-point gap with just 4 games left after this weekend would be huge in the race for Europe. And obviously, like you said, we don't know who's going to get that extra Champions League spot. We don't know if the cup spot is going to be moved to the league, because obviously Bayer Leverkusen could shock us all and not win the German Cup. But yeah, so it's really a kind of a must-win game for both these teams. So you'd imagine it will be a very open match. There should be plenty of goals as both teams try to win it, because a draw, it's better for Frankfurt than Augsburg. So Augsburg will be doing everything in their power to score goals. And in the past, we've seen in these games there has been goals for both teams. The most common result in this one in the past is 1-1. The most common result in Frankfurt is 1-1 as well. So both teams to score has happened yet in 62% of Frankfurt's games this season in the Bundesliga, 69% for Augsburg. Both teams to score, yes, has happened in all 4 of the last 4 meetings between the two sides. So there've been 2 1-1s and a 2-1 win each for each team. So this one kind of looks on paper to be a close game. It could be a tight game. I like the look of both teams to score. Yes, obviously here 1.62. Augsburg double chance is a good option too, because it's hard. It's going to be hard to predict who is going to win this one. So, but I think both teams will score. Could be a close one, like the past has told us. It could be a draw, but I'm not willing to go and say it's definitely going to be a draw. So I like to look here of total goals under 2.75. So I think both teams will score, but it could end up being a 1-1. So yeah, total goals under 2.75.
Over, okay. The draw looks good. 4 as well could be a good option, or as you said, as well, both teams to score. Many options in this game. On Saturday, we have Cologne, Darmstadt, a very important one for the relegation, although probably these two teams will meet next season in Bundesliga 2. Is the last train for Cologne, if there is still a train in the platform, because it's 4 points away from salvation, lost to Bayern. At least, if you want to be positive, they beat Bochum in the last home game, coming back from behind. And as we know, Darmstadt is so poor, there is no hope for them.
Yeah, there isn't. Darmstadt, they're now 4 wins from safety. They only have 5 games left, and they have Dortmund on the last day of the season. So theoretically, they need to win every game from now until that Dortmund game to stay up. So I don't think that's going to happen. And this is a great chance for Cologne to maybe move a bit closer to safety themselves. Like you said, they're comfortably in the relegation zone. They're 4 points behind 16th and 5 points behind 15th. Then, so they kind of need to really close the gap, and this is the chance for them to do something here. The only thing is they can't score. Darmstadt can't score. The average goals here is 0.8 for Cologne so far this season, and just 1 for Darmstadt. So don't expect a high scoring match. Cologne, the only thing both teams have scored has happened in 4 of their last 5 games, and the only one where it wasn't was the 2-0 defeat against Bayern. So maybe that could give us the optimism that there could be something for us to maybe watch in this match, or there could be something in the highlights package. Darmstadt haven't scored in their last 2 games, but they got 2 in each of the 2 games before that, including against Bayern, in that 5-2 defeat. And they drew 2-2 against Bochum, so they picked up a point there. Both teams to score, yes, could be an option here, 1.81. Cologne won 1-0 earlier this season, and it was 2-1 to Darmstadt in the previous meeting before that, back in 2019. So I like the chance of Cologne maybe winning this one, but I don't think they're going to win by much. So correct score 2 could be an option with 8.6. But I like the look of overall it being a narrow game, it being a cagey game. So my tip for this one is Darmstadt 8 in handicap plus 1.25. That's 1.86.
It's going to be very difficult for both sides to stay in the Bundesliga. For Darmstadt, impossible. For Cologne, very unlikely at this point. Next game is Heidenheim. Leipzig, very important for Leipzig, still fighting for the 4th spot with Borussia Dortmund, and they are in great form. Beat Wolfsburg 3-0, very reliable since they were kicked out from Europe. 5 wins and 1 draw in the last 6 games. Heidenheim could be the next victim.
Yeah, you would imagine so. Leipzig just seem to be scoring a lot of goals at the moment. They seem to be getting on target, like you said, since they got knocked out of Europe. They seem to be kind of that turned their season around, and obviously they had that big battle for the final Champions League spot with Borussia Dortmund, and they'll be hoping Borussia Dortmund can do them a favour in Europe and actually progress and maybe open up a 5th spot. But if not, they have to get a win here and keep going and secure top 4 themselves and not worry about what's happening elsewhere. So they are in a great run at the moment. They've scored 3 or more goals in 3 of their last 4 games. So there could be a lot of goals in this one. Losa Penda he's now on 22 Bundesliga goals. Timo Werner's 2019-20 season is the only Bundesliga season better in Leipzig history. So he'd be looking to finish as their top scorer. In historical top scorer, the best ever single season for any Leipzig player. So I think Leipzig will be looking to rack up the goals in this one, help their goal difference a bit more. It's plus 11 over Borussia Dortmund at the moment, so they want to go even further in front with that. Heidenheim, the only thing is they don't lose without scoring. They tend to score in every game. So they've had both teams score yes in each of their last 4 games. So both teams to score yes is a good option here, 1.62. But I think this is just going to be a goal fest. So I'm going for total goals over 3.25 in this one.
Well, Leipzig, they are going to fight until the end to try to qualify for the Champions League next season. Less things on stake in the next one. Hoffenheim. Gladbach lost to Dortmund. Gladbach still, as we know, they are doing a really bad season. And be careful, 5 points away from the bottom 3, so they cannot get too relaxed in these last games of the season. It's only 1 win in the last 6 games. Also very, very negative. The tendency for Hoffenheim is 4 defeats in the last 5 and lost 4-1 to Mainz in the last game.
Yeah, this looks like a both teams to lose sort of game. But yeah, you'd imagine that Gladbach, there's more on the line, obviously, for them. They have a few injuries after that 2-1 defeat to Dortmund. They have a few players that could be sidelined for this one. Elvedi, Honorat, Nagumu, Liner, they're all kind of doubts. Even Jordan up front could be a doubt. So depending on the kind of fitness updates we get as it goes towards the match, it should boost Gladbach if some of these players start to come back. I think Elvedi is the most likely one to kind of be back for this match, but yeah, it's going to be a tricky match for Gladbach, especially the way they've been playing. But we know they can, on their day, they can record good results, and they have in the last 4 meetings with Hoffenheim. They've had both teams to score yes in all of those last 4 meetings. They've been 5-1, a 3-1, a 4-1, and a 2-1. So it was a 1-1 before that. So the only result left looks to be a 6-1 for Gladbach. So that's either 151 for the correct score or 251, depending on which way you want to go. So maybe a cheeky 10-cent bet on that might be an option, a 6-1 win for Borussia Mönchengladbach. And if that happens, I think this will be clipped up and played around the internet forever. But yeah. I think the only thing is that Hoffenheim, they're struggling to kind of get chances and score. They're coming off the back of that 4-1 defeat, like you said, but they only created 0.53 XG, so against one of the worst teams in the league. So that does give kind of Gladbach a lot of hope going into this match. And they do, like you said, they do need to kind of get results to ensure that they're safe. I don't think they're going to get dragged into that relegation battle, but they need to ensure that they aren't dragged into that relegation battle. So a point or 3 points here would make a huge difference for them. So that's why I'm going for Gladbach Asian handicap 0 as the tip for this one.
Well, Hoffenheim really favorite despite their bad run. It's only 2.10. I think we should stay away from those odds. The next one, very important for the relegation, Wolfsburg, Bochum. Bochum getting very close to Mainz. Now they are only 1 point away and getting really in trouble. Only 2 points in the last 7 games in the most important point of the season. Wolfsburg also in trouble. It's only 2 points away from Mainz. So this is a really key game. It's 5 defeats in the last 6 games for Wolfsburg. Both teams to lose, looks like this game.
Yeah, it does. It's another one of those. And we seem to have a lot of relegation 6-pointers this week, don't we? It seems to be one of those weeks where the relegation standings have really become clear after this match. So obviously, Wolfsburg, they do need to win this one. Bochum need to win it too. But Wolfsburg, they look like one of those teams that are too good or too big to go down. Their squad should be too big to go down. They've got in a new head coach, Haselhüttl. He's not had the best start. He had a great debut game, but since then it's back to what we come to expect from Wolfsburg. I don't think he's settled on what his best team is, or maybe even what his best formation is, because we saw in the 3-0 defeat to RB Leipzig last weekend that he tried both a 3-4-3 and a 4-3-3 at different times, and neither of them seemed to be that effective. So he kind of needs to find his footing fast. The only thing is Bochum is a good team to try and figure yourself out against it. Definitely the most important game of Wolfsburg's season, and the history is on Wolfsburg's side because Bochum haven't beaten Wolfsburg in Wolfsburg since 2008, so it's a long time since that has happened. So I think Wolfsburg, they will win this one, and I'm kind of confident that they'll win this one. So I like the odds just on a straight Wolfsburg win here.
Well, it's 1.8. It's a bit low considering their form, but for sure they must win. And we are very surprised to see Wolfsburg this close to the bottom 3 at this point of the season. And the last game, the late kickoff on Saturday, is Union Berlin, Bayern Munich. Union Berlin also 3 points away from Mainz. Since Mainz, they are getting a lot of points. A lot of teams are getting in trouble. We know that they are strong from home. Strong at home, this season, but it's only 1 win in the last 7 games for Union Berlin. Bayern Munich, we are recording this video without knowing what are they gonna do against Arsenal, but regardless of that game, they have to fight for the second spot, and I guess Tuchel also wants to leave the club in a high and protecting his figure as a great manager.
Yeah, if he finished third in the Bundesliga, it would be a devastating kind of blow to Tuchel, and it would not look good on his resume going forward at all if he finished behind Stuttgart. And that's what the battle is in the Bundesliga for the moment, because Leverkusen have now won the title. So the battle for second, and the battle for Europe, the battle for relegation are all that we've left to talk about there, because Leverkusen have celebrated success. But if Tuchel got knocked out of the Champions League, didn't even finish in the top 2 in the Bundesliga, people would start to question him going forward, and maybe he wouldn't be in line for the big jobs that he usually gets tipped for anymore. So it is really important what Bayern Munich do in the Bundesliga between now and the end of the season. And I think Union Berlin, like you said, been kind of a strong team at home historically. Obviously, it's a great place to go to a football match if you're a travelling fan to Berlin with a walk through the woods and go into the stadium of the Old Forester. But yeah, it can be an opposing place for it can be a difficult place for opposing teams to go to. So I think Bayern Munich, I'm not sure that they're going to rack up a 6-0 win here or anything, but they should win. They should pick up a win here, especially as Union Berlin are struggling to score. They're 0.9 goals scored per game. They haven't scored in their last 3 Bundesliga games, so it's tricky for them to get goals. And Manuel Neuer should be back in goal for Bayern Munich. So I think Bayern Munich could get another clean sheet in this one. That's 2.55 or the odds there. Union Berlin, they just struggle to score. They've been held scoreless 16 different times this season. So I like the look of, obviously, a clean sheet, like I said, but even more so, I think Bayern Munich to win 2-0, 2.9 looks a good option in this one.
Well, important to see what is going to be the next job for Thomas Tuchel. Well, 3 more games on Sunday. Werder Bremen, Stuttgart. Stuttgart keep winning and getting really good results with Guirassy and Undav in the score sheet. For them is 9 wins and 2 draws in the last 11 games. This is just great. Werder Bremen, one of these teams, Ronan, that they are getting in trouble. 5 points away from Mainz, 1 point in the last 6 games.
Yeah, and it's hard to see them pick up any points here because, like you said, this Stuttgart front line, they just look unstoppable. Guirassy is now on 25 goals, the most ever for a Stuttgart player in the Bundesliga. And Undav's 16 goals are the best debut season for a German player in nearly 30 years. So these two up front, they just seem to be scoring against anything. And I saw a statistic over the weekend as well that Guirassy is the most lethal finisher in Europe. He just tends to score. He doesn't miss the chances that he gets. I mean, you can see that against Frankfurt. Stuttgart only produced 1.26 xG, but they scored 3 times. So this is a team that if you give them the ball, you give them space, they are going to punish you. And for the Bremen, you've seen in the past that's what they've been doing recently. They've been giving teams opportunities. They've been sloppy themselves. They've kind of ceded possession a bit too much. So I'm not sure they can turn things around, but they should just have just about enough to stay up, but maybe not to pick up any points here. Naby Keita obviously is the big talking point in Werder Bremen at the moment. He was meant to travel with the team with Leipzig. He wasn't included in the team, and then he went home by himself. And the club president even came out and spoke about it. And Keita came out and in response and said that this didn't happen at all on his Instagram. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. But that just puts more kind of turmoil around Werder Bremen, and it kind of puts more pressure on the head coach. Can you pick a player like this? Can you pick a player who hasn't performed at all for you? He's only played 5 times this season in the Bundesliga for Werder Bremen. He hasn't even played 2 hours of football. So Werder Bremen have lots of problems on and off the pitch. So I like the look of another Stuttgart comfortable win here. Stuttgart to win 2-0 is 3.25, and the overall tip I'm going for this one is Stuttgart Asian handicap -1, because I think they could win this one very comfortably.
Full gas on Stuttgart, really, really reliable. They are gonna play next season in the Champions League. What a season after fighting against relegation only some months ago. And on Sunday, the great game is Borussia Dortmund Bayern Leverkusen. Leverkusen, as we all know, crowned champions for the very first time in Germany last week against Werder Bremen, also facing tough opposition on Thursday in the Europa League with West Ham, but also a European week for Borussia Dortmund facing Atlético de Madrid. Overall, it could be the game, I guess, where Bayer Leverkusen are more relaxed with the title in the pocket, with that game at the London Stadium, with Borussia Dortmund fighting for the 4th spot. I'm not saying that they are going to lose, but it would be understandable if they finally lose and dropped this invincibility this season.
Yeah, I'm going to say they're going to lose. Yeah, I think this is the invincible season. This could be the invincible season over, because just look at the celebrations that Leverkusen had at the weekend. I'd say they're still partying. No matter what day you're watching this video, they're probably still partying. The players are probably still enjoying it. But it's such a difficult week for them kind of bounce back after already securing the title. If it was the case that they still needed this win to secure the title, maybe it will be a different story. But Leverkusen will have other things on their minds now after winning the Bundesliga. They have Europe to play for. They have the cup final coming up, so it's got to be a difficult one with playing with long-term hangovers. Maybe it's going to be a difficult place to go. Borussia Dortmund is always a difficult place to go. So Leverkusen's win at the weekend was their 43rd game unbeaten. That's the European record set by Juventus. It equals that, the best ever run by any European team. So they could obviously make it 44 against West Ham. They could break the record, and then they could end the record on Sunday against Borussia Dortmund. Yeah, it's also the best ever start in the Bundesliga. 29 games unbeaten is the same as Pep Guardiola got with Bayern Munich in 2013-14. So there's a lot of records that Borussia Dortmund would be looking to end in this one. Dortmund obviously will be out without Sepp Haller, who could actually be out for the rest of the season. He's been given a minimum of 2 to 3 weeks before he returns. Could miss even more time. Karim Adeyemi is suspended, but I think Borussia Dortmund still have enough in attack. We've seen Füllkrug, Malen. They've both been good in 2024, so I think they still have plenty of firepower to punish Bayer Leverkusen, especially if there's any sort of rotation at the back with the full-backs maybe, or the wing-backs being changed, or the centre-backs being changed to focus on European games coming up. So Leverkusen, they haven't beaten Dortmund since February 2022. Dortmund won both these matches last season, 1-0 and 2-0, and it was even a 1-1 draw earlier this season. So a Dortmund double chance looks like an option here, 1.58, but I'm going to put my neck on the line and say a Dortmund win is my tip for this one. End up Bayer Leverkusen unbeaten season, a Dortmund win at 2.57.
Well, this is risky, going for Dortmund to win, but it's good to flag the options for Dortmund, double chance for Asian Handicap 0 for Dortmund, because it's going to be very difficult for Leverkusen to keep this form until the end of the season, because it's normal that they are relaxed, and also they have to focus in the European competition and in the cup final. And the last game is Freiburg-Mainz. Mainz is a new team. They are very close to leave the bottom 3. Beat Hoffenheim, beat Darmstadt, scoring 8 goals in the last 2 games. Now they have to win away. No wins away this season. 7 draws, 7 defeats. They surprised us with the draw in Leipzig. Can they go to Freiburg and get points as well there?
Yeah, I think they can. Might necessarily be a win, but I think they can pick up more points in their battle for safety. And we've seen Freiburg, obviously, they're usually a solid team in defence historically. They've been not as strong this season, and it's the end of the Christian Streich era at the club. So Freiburg conceded 1.8 goals per game, Mainz 1.6. The average goals scored, Mainz have taken it up to 1. They were below 1 for a large period of the season, and the average goals for Freiburg is 1.4. But Mainz, they were really good in that game against Hoffenheim. They had 2.58 XG, scored 4 second half goals, and I saw them even by one German journalist. He was comparing this current Mainz under Bo Henriksen to Klopp's heavy metal football. So maybe the heavy metal football that Klopp had in Mainz years ago could be back and can save them. But yeah, it's still a big ask for them to kind of stay up. So they need all the points they can get. But I like the look of them maybe snatching a draw here. Correct score 1-1 is 7. So yeah, that could be an option here. It's been a draw or a 1-goal win all of the last 6 meetings between the two teams. So total goals under 2.75 could be an option of 1.99 as well here, but because I think it will be a close affair. It always tends to be when Freiburg play. So Freiburg Mainz kind of has the look of a draw, so that's why I'm going for a draw as the tip for this one. 3.77 for the draw.
Well, Freiburg, they have a really bad record at home, winless in the last 5. Mainz, they have drawn 7 games this season when they play away from home, so it could be a good option. Even the bookies expect a draw, very high odds for the Freiburg win, for the Mainz win. So the draw at 3.7, 3.8 looks really, really good. Ronan, safe bet?
Yeah, I'm not going to go for Borussia Dortmund as my safe bet. Yeah, that's more of a risky one. So my safe bet this week is Bayern Munich win 1.58.
Yeah, Dortmund to win is far from being safe. And the ACCA?
My ACCA, I'm going for all wins of some favorites here. Stuttgart to win, RB Leipzig to win, Wolfsburg to win, and Bayern Munich to win. That's for a total of over 7.07.
Okay, also a bit risky. Of course, you can put a draw no bet in some of the games, and if there is a draw, you get your money back. If you are a bit more cautious, well, Ronan, and see you next week. Thanks for the tips, for the analysis, and see you soon. Bye-bye.